Hey guys, welcome back to part number 2 of Wizard of War. We are going to do the body work on this cabinet on this episode, and we are going to more than likely paint the satin black parts. So all inside here, the top up here, actually the top's supposed to be white, so I'll paint the white top and the back separate. We'll probably just use like a paintbrush and roller for the top and the back, because it's just an off-white, and I'll probably just use a latex paint. There's no stickers or anything going back there, so I can just take a piece of my laminate that I'm using for the front and sides up to Home Depot or Lowe's and just try to find a paint that matches the laminate. So I'm gonna start sanding this down, getting the body work done to it so that we can get the black part sprayed. But first I wanna try something on this back door. The corners are missing on this back door a little bit. They're kind of beat up. This is particle board. And if you look like this corner, for instance, it's missing pretty good there. I'm gonna just use Bondo and kind of make a new corner. But what I was hoping to do is maybe I could put a screw or two into this so that the Bondo has something to attach to. These are little trim screws. So I'm just putting it in there just past the edge. I'm gonna put a couple in there and hopefully that'll hold the Bondo so it doesn't bust off the edge. I think I'm gonna have to drill a hole for that one. I don't want to split it worse than it is. Grab a little drill bit here. Maybe we can I'm just trying to line it up here so that it's just inside. And that looks pretty good there. A tiny bit more. So now if you look at this, these are sticking out, and when I Bondo it, the Bondo will adhere to that screw, which is attached to the wood. And I'm gonna put just one on this side. This side's not as bad. And these other nicks down here will be fine. We'll be able to fill those in. And these are just real small screws. They're just called a trim screw. That feels good there. So that should help hold the filler to the edge now. Okay, first thing I need to do is get the rest of these stickers off. And I think this might be latex paint that's on here. It was definitely paintbrush and roller. You could see the marks. So I'm kind of hoping I can just peel this off without having to use a heat gun. This is why you don't use latex paint. See how it's sticking to the back of the vinyl? And it just doesn't adhere very well. Might be able to peel this all off, we'll see. And we don't have to worry about primering or painting the sides of these. Just need to sand it down really good so that our laminate will stick. So I'll probably end up sanding off all this red paint because I don't think that the laminate glue will stick to latex paint very well. It doesn't look like it's a very thick layer of paint on here anyways. So I'm going to continue to do this. I'm going to finish up this side, and then I got to peel it off the other side as well. And then I'll come back and we'll sand this whole side down with 80 grit sandpaper. We'll do it to both sides. The bottom corner down here is missing on the cabinet a little bit down here. It's not horrible. We'll probably maybe use a couple more screws and do a little bit of body filler there. I think that bottom edge is supposed to be rounded, so it's not too bad. So I'm going to finish peeling this one off, and I'll peel the other side, and then we'll come back and start sanding it down. Okay, I got it off of both sides. Now I'm going to sand these sides down with some 80 grit sandpaper. I'm going to grab some 180 grit. It might work a little bit better than the 80. All right, I'm going to continue to sand this down until I get most of the red paint off of it. Somebody had already sanded it and got the white paint off at some point, and the corner up here, somebody did a little repair work too and fixed this corner, was busted out at one time. So I'm going to keep sanding, and I'll come back and show you the progress here in a little bit. Okay, that took me about, I don't know, I'd say about 35 minutes to do both sides and the front. I still got to do the top and the back. So I did both sides and the front. Now, the red that is left over, obviously some of this stuff is nothing. That's just sanding marks. Somebody had belt sanded the cabinet down the last time. But all the areas that are thicker red marks are all indentations in the wood that I'm going to fill in with some body filler. So like this right here, this is actually a pretty good sized divot. I just want to get this as smooth as I can so that the laminate has a good surface to adhere to. Now, this cabinet originally was painted with like a cream color paint, and I plan on using a cream color laminate on the sides, and then these cabinets had black speckle paint over top of the cream paint. So I might do that same effect on top of the laminate using a black automotive paint and a brush. And you just, let me go grab a brush and I'll show you. Just grab a stiff brush and you use your finger and you kind of just flick it, and then the paint will splatter onto the surface. Now, I'll obviously test it on a scrap piece of laminate to make sure I like the way it looks before I went and did the sides and the front. If I do decide to do that, I'm gonna put the artwork on first and leave the masking that's over the artwork installed on the artwork. Then flick my paint, and then I can peel the masking off. If I use an automotive paint, it's gonna adhere to the laminate. We don't have to worry about it washing off like if it were latex paint or something like that. So it's a good possibility I'm gonna do that. So now I'm gonna mix up some filler and we can get the first coat of filler on these nicks. Okay, on this first coat, I'm gonna use a thicker product, like a regular body filler rather than the glazing putty that I normally use, because some of those corners and stuff have some pretty good nicks in them. So I want this stuff to be a little bit thicker. So we're gonna use this right here. It's just a regular Bondo. And once again, the fronts and the side, or sorry, the front and the sides are just getting body worked. They're not getting primered or painted because the laminate's gonna glue right over top of it. The only thing that's getting painted is the black areas. So I'll get this first coat on, let it dry for a little bit, we'll sand it down, and then we can do a coat of the glazing putty over top. And remember to take your filler and don't stir it, fold it over. Stirring it creates air bubbles. So I'm gonna keep mixing this up here. We'll come over here. And I can start filling in these nicks. Okay, so I'm just gonna start filling in all these deeper colored areas of red. This repair that somebody did fell apart up here when I sanded it. So that'll take a couple coats to get that filled back in. And I'm just gonna go around and find all the nicks and get them filled back in. Get a nice smooth surface. And I plan on doing the laminate this week on this cabinet as well, probably on Wednesday. And then after that, it can go in the basement and we'll start putting it together. My power supply and stuff should be here today for Tapper, so hopefully we can get that up and running. I don't know, I'm a little worried that I might have a problem with the circuit board or something, so not sure yet. We'll have to play with it, see if we can get it working. If for some reason I can't, then I'll have to send it out to get repaired. So I'm gonna keep doing this, filling this in, and then I'll come back in a little bit and we'll sand this down and we'll get ready for another coat. So I'm gonna repeat this process on the other side. And I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to get this first coat sanded down. go grab a sanding block so I can sand the edges down now. Okay, I'm gonna take my sanding block here and sand all the edges. You don't want to use a sander because when it spins, it could rip the body filler off the edge. Okay, now I'm gonna go sand the other side. I wanted to record this whole side getting sanded so you can see it only takes a few minutes to do each side. So I'm gonna get the front, a couple spots in the front, the other side sanded, and then we'll be ready for another coat of filler. Hopefully this next coat will be the last coat, but we'll see how it works out. Okay, I'm ready to mix up some more. I'm gonna use the same stuff again. Normally I'll use this glazing putty by U-Pull. You can get it at O'Reilly Auto Parts, and I think you can order it online. But I forgot I got those couple spots on that rear door and stuff. So I'm gonna use this because this is a little bit thicker of a product. So I'm just gonna mix this up, it's fine. It's just a little bit harder to sand than the other stuff. So I'm gonna get this mixed up. We're gonna put a coat on everything again. Not everything, but anything that we see. And then those corners of the back door and stuff. And then hopefully that'll be the last coat. And then we need to do sand down these black parts so that we can get those painted as well. Now on this coin door surround, we had talked about it yesterday. Somebody had put 2 drywall screws in here, one here and one here. I was gonna weld that in. I think I'm just gonna mix up a little bit of Bondo and with my finger, put it in the hole because I don't wanna lose this texture. And this isn't in bad shape at all. Neither is the coin door. So I might just hit it with the Scotch-Brite pad and then repaint it black, and I'll just use the Bondo to fill in these little holes here. Because if I weld it, chances are I'm gonna mess up the texture around the hole because of the heat from the welder. So we're gonna get this mixed up. And then we'll start putting it on again. Okay, I got it mixed up here. want to make sure your edges are nice and straight, because when you put that laminate on there, you have to run your router along this edge. So you don't really want to have any nicks or big dings in your edge, so that your router will follow the edge properly. I'm gonna go ahead and finish putting this stuff on, and then I'll be back. Okay, this coat's dry. I'm gonna sand it down just like I did the last coat. I'm not gonna record it. It's kind of pointless to keep recording me sanding the same spots. So I'm gonna get all these sanded down again, and we'll see what they look like. Okay, I sanded all the parts down again. I still have to sand this back edge. I just kind of haven't got to that yet because there was another spot down here, that bottom corner, I still needed to do a little bit more in and a little bit down there. And I got the last coat on the door corners and stuff now. The T-molding groove got filled in a little bit with Bondo, but I will worry about that when once I put the laminate on the sides, I'll just run the router on the bottom edge there and recut that groove. I'm not gonna worry about it now until after. So I'm gonna get this last coat of filler sanded in these few spots that are left. And then I want to get all this sanded down inside here with 320 grit. I'll probably sand back in the cabinet and stuff too. And then we can get the coin door and a couple of those other black parts sanded down. This board for the front, clean this, sand that down. And then I want to get everything painted satin black today. So that's done and over with, and then Wednesday I plan on doing the laminate. But you can see here, we can shoot a little bit more black paint all over these sides, and you can see how they, from the factory, kind of just misted to nothing. And then if you look here, I don't know if you can see this or not. Okay, yeah, you can. See these little black speckles? That's how the cabinet was originally painted. So I'm really tempted to want to do that again. You could feel them a little bit. I'm afraid that you'll feel them a little bit more on the laminate, but I don't know that it really matters, because if I use a automotive paint, I think it'll be fine. And it's not like somebody's gonna be sitting there with their fingernail trying to pick it off the side of the cabinet. So I am going to definitely experiment with it with a piece of scrap laminate and see if I can't create that look again. Or maybe even, see, I'm afraid to try spray paint. I think spray paint might be an issue, or maybe if I take a can of spray paint, you know, and I'm way back here and then I just kind of missed it, and see if anything hits. Maybe I'll try that on a piece of scrap laminate as well. So I'm gonna get these rest of these spots sanded, and then we're gonna start sanding the 320 on the inside of everything. Okay, all the spots are sanded down. Now I'm ready to start sanding the black areas. You can see these corners turned out really nice on this back door. I broke off a piece of the laminate so that I can use it to go get some paint for the back. And then I wanted to show you what it looks like color-wise compared to what it used to be. And you could see where this isn't as faded as much from where the door handle, the back handle was on. So it's pretty close. It's a hair brighter, but this might have been a little bit brighter at one point as well. It just all depends on, you know, I think that's good color. So it's not, it just looks a little bit whiter than it is on camera. So I'm gonna grab some 320 grit sandpaper and we'll start sanding all the black areas. So you can see how this is looking. I'm just sanding all of the roughness down. I'm gonna go ahead and do that to the rest of the black areas, and then I'll come back. I'm gonna sand those too. And then I'll come back, show you what it looks like. We'll get it blown off and get it ready to start painting. Okay, cabinet is all sanded down. Back door sanded down. These two pieces are sanded down. I'm gonna sand these metal pieces down with some 180 grit. I'm gonna take one of these red Scotch-Brite pads and I'm gonna clean all the speaker grills with it. So basically, you just wanna scuff it up until it's completely smooth like that. And then this I'm gonna do the same thing with. I put a little bit of Bondo on those areas. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of sandpaper and see about just sanding it down lightly. I can spray a little bit of texture in this area just to bring it back if I have to, which I'll probably have to, but that's okay. We can spot texture it, just this edge, and we'll be fine. These holes were so small, it wasn't worth trying to weld them. But you can see here how that's smoothed out. We'll just spray a little bit of texture over this right here, and then that'll be good. So I'm gonna Scotch-Brite the coin door, the ring, and these speaker grills and stuff. And then I'll be ready to clean all these parts off and get ready to spray the black. So I'm gonna get all this stuff scuffed up, ready to go. I'm gonna blow it all off, and then I'm gonna get everything set up in the spray booth, and then we will spray the black areas. Okay, I've blown everything off really good. I'll probably blow it off one more time. These are all the parts in here ready for paint. The speaker grills down here. The bottom door, the drawer for the bottom. So let's go get some paint mixed up and we will start getting this painted. Okay, I'm gonna spray a little bit of this rock guard. It's black in color. And we're gonna spray that on those little bit of spots that I sanded down here on the trim ring for the coin door. So I just like to stay back real far. This one might be clogged up. I might have to go get another one. Hold on a second. Okay, I got it unclogged here. So we're just gonna stay back pretty far here. We just wanna mist it over these spots that I sanded. Nothing crazy. I might just do a light coat on here too, just so that everything matches. So we'll just put a light mist on here. This only takes a couple minutes to dry. Hit this one more time real lightly. I'm barely pulling the trigger. Okay. This stuff you can get at O'Reilly's as well. It's made by Duplicolor, Rock Guard. They make it in clear and black. I always just use the black. So now we're gonna go mix up some paint in here, and then we'll put a couple coats of black paint on everything. I showed you guys in the last video for Galaxian, we use this hot rod single stage acrylic urethane paint from Home Depot. I'm sorry, from Summit Racing. It's hot rod flat. I like using this stuff. It turns out really nice. It dries really nice. It looks good when it's done. This is just a 4-to-1 mixture. A gallon takes a quart of hardener, and then I always put a little reducer in it just to thin it out a little bit, just to make it a little bit easier to spray. So you get quite a bit. If you buy a gallon of this with a hardener and a gallon of reducer, it's probably going to cost you about $120 or so, but you could probably get 6 arcade cabinets out of this, maybe even more. So if you think about it, that's roughly $20, $25 per cabinet if you got 6 cabinets out of this setup. You know, cans of spray paint anymore are $7, $8. So this is actually the better deal if you have a spray gun and you're able to spray it. So we need to mix this up. It's a 4-to-1 mix, like I said, and my cup here has a chart. I might have to mix up more than 1 cup full because I'm doing the inside of the back door and everything. So I'm just gonna take this up to the highest mark I can, which is the number 4 on here. And we'll put some reducer in it, or some hardener in it, and then reducer. I already shook the can. If you don't have a shaker, you can stir it with a stick, not a big deal. And we're gonna put a little bit of reducer in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this all mixed up, get it in the spray gun, and then we'll go out there and put the first coat of black on everything. And this goes really fast. Basically, once I'm done with the first coat of black, it'll be ready for the second coat of black. So I'll get this stirred up real good, and we'll get out there and get it going. more paint mixed up. I'm gonna do another coat. I'm not gonna do it on camera. I'll just get another coat on there, and then once it's all done and drying for a couple minutes, I'll show you guys what it looks like. Okay, it's all done and it's drying. I'll walk around and show you what it looks like. But that's gonna end part 2 of the Wizard of War restore. Let's show you what it looks like here. See how nice and finished that looks. And you can even see some of the wood grain in there, which I kind of like that. Looks like it originally did. The back door here, I peeled off the tape that I covered that sticker with. We got little brackets for the interlock switches. This is still a little wet, that's still drying. Let me show you this coin door. You can see how much better that looks where they have those 2 little holes, you can't even tell. And you see how that stuff gives you a real nice texture. All right guys, that's gonna do part 2. If you guys are liking what you see, please like and subscribe. Any questions or anything, comments, feel free to send them and ask. And I will see you guys probably later on. I might work on the tapper. I did get a new power supply, so I might work on that later on today. So, all right guys, thanks for watching. I will see you later.